Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm coming to you today from Lisbon. I absolutely love Lisbon. It is such a magical city. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what I saw and did while in Lisbon, the great restaurants and cafes that I went to, and whatever else I think is super relevant to share. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. So I started my day in Lisbon with a restaurant across the street from my hotel called Selva, which I was staying at the Pestana, which I will leave linked down below in Marquis de Pombal. The food here was fantastic. I had these shrimp tacos, which came with a very generous helping of aioli. And I also had a superfood salad that came with it, which had tomatoes, beans, nuts, vegetables, and I think it was a farro grain, both of which were fantastic. And then I made my way over, well, up a fairly large hill. This is Parque Eduardo, and there's a very interesting scenic viewpoint at the top of it where you look down on the park and the city, and it's just a stunning view with kind of almost like the hedge maze detail in the middle. It's a really cool and unusual thing to see in Lisbon. And not too far from it, just a few minutes further into the park, is this really lovely cafe. I don't remember the name of it, but I will leave it linked down below. It's right next to the El Corte Inglés department store, but within the park. So it's kind of secluded from the hustle and bustle of the street. And I had a pastel de nata, when in Lisbon, and a coffee. And I actually met a friend there just to have a catch up, and overlooking this beautiful lake, the park. This cafe was such a great hidden gem. So if you're looking just to have a more kind of chill afternoon in Lisbon, how relaxing does that view look? And then after, my friend and I decided to do a little bit of retail therapy at El Corte Inglés, because why not? Then later that evening, I went for an epic dinner. The restaurant is called Rosamar, and it's in the Barrio Alto neighborhood of Lisbon. It describes itself as a sustainable seafood grill and oyster bar, but to be fair, it's so many wonderful tapas offerings. So we had croquetas, we had these mini seafood tacos, we had some really wonderful kind of salady things for the vegetarians in our group. We had some mussels with the most decadent creamy sauce. And we also had I think these were like a little clam as well. So this was a large group dinner. We of course had a little bit of dessert with some churros, and also this really interesting kind of apple cake. Really recommend this if you take a visit to Lisbon. Now, the next morning I started with a coffee. I was still full from last night. I went to a place called Numa, which is this really cool coffee shop, which I will leave linked down below. The coffee shop is very conveniently located on the way over to the Lisbon Botanical Gardens. Now, those who know me well know that I love parks and gardens, and while I have been to Lisbon quite a few times, I have never been to the Botanical Gardens. So I knew this was the perfect morning activity after a late night and a heavy meal to stretch my legs, because the Botanical Garden has 10 acres and has over 10,000 plants. And it is something you do have to pay for a ticket for. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I will leave a link to the website down below, which has the hours, the ticket prices. It was not expensive at all. And it was just such a wonderful way to spend a few hours in the morning getting some steps and learning a little bit about the many exotic plants that they have in this garden. Apparently they also have a butterfly greenhouse, and apparently the only one in Europe that's open to the public. And I don't know how, but I missed this. So consider yourself warned, but I would definitely recommend checking it out if you love parks and gardens and plants as much as I do. So after working up a bit of an appetite at the Botanical Garden, I went to another restaurant actually right next to my hotel because my hotel was really close to the Botanical Garden. This place is called Slang, and I think I was the only one sitting inside, but I had the most beautiful salmon, which came with spinach, tomatoes, and kind of a hummusy sauce. So good. This was exactly like the beautiful, healthy lunch that I needed. I also had a green juice with it. And yeah, then it was off to explore a little bit more of Lisbon. I decided that I was going to climb some hills in search of scenic viewpoints, as you do. Now, the thing that I will warn you about is going to these scenic viewpoints requires climbing a lot of steep hills and also stairs, but trust me, it's worth it. The first one I went to is called the Miradoro de Senhora do Monte, and this one is located next to the chapel of Senhora do Monte, and it offers a rich panorama of Lisbon. So the castle of São Jorge, the river, the Baxia, you really can just see almost what feels like completely across the city, and it's incredible. I think I went there a little too early in the afternoon because, as you could see, the sun was still rather blinding, but the crowd was definitely gathering because once it hit sunset, that viewpoint is outstanding. Then I went on a long, strange journey, but found myself by a scenic viewpoint that I have been to quite a few times, which is called Miradoro de Santa Luisa. And this one just has a beautiful view. And as you can see, I started to time the sunset a little bit better by the time I made it down here. And this is a very lively area. There's all of these roof terrace bars. So should you want to linger longer, you could just have a cocktail, watch the sunset, enjoy that afternoon glow. It would be a really beautiful way just to relax while in Lisbon. And then after that, I decided to go on a little walk through the Alfama neighborhood. Now, I have a really lovely friend who lives locally, and many years ago, he took me on this very walk, and I feel like now every time when I come back to Lisbon, I enter in down that road and I'm faced first with this really, really quirky, weird house, which has like fake people and all this stuff. It's definitely something you will see it. It's at the base of the stairs. And then I weave my way through the Alfama neighborhood. There's not a set path that I follow. It's more about getting lost in these beautiful small little streets, taking pictures of the homes, just enjoying what makes you feel like you're traveling back in time a bit in Lisbon. Like, you could almost imagine that if you were a local, this might be somewhere where you live. So I definitely would recommend that. And I will make sure, as always, to leave all of these neighborhoods, areas, the street that I crossed down, linked down below. Then lastly, as luck and timing would have it, obviously I planned these things. I was meeting some friends for dinner at a restaurant called Solar 31 Alfama. We started with some razor clams, which were really good. I'd actually never tried them before. And I had a beautiful octopus and potatoes dish as the main. And we did share some other things for the table, but this wasn't really the food vlogging dinner just because I was with a big group. So I at least captured what I had for starter and main, and I hope that you enjoy it. Now, with that said, that wraps up my 48 hours in Lisbon. There is so much to do in Lisbon. I highly recommend it. I've only scratched the surface in this video, but hope it gives you a couple expected things and a couple unexpected things for you to see and enjoy. I would definitely recommend it. I usually go back like at least every other year to Lisbon. And if I can, I don't know if I've done any other YouTube videos or blog posts, but as always, I will make sure everything is linked down below. Now, if you found this video useful or helpful, please hit that like button. That really helps this channel. Leave a comment down below. What are some of your favorite places in Lisbon? Places that, you know, restaurants, sights to see. Sharing is always caring here on this channel. And as mentioned, I will be going back at some point. So give me some more travel tips. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you did enjoy this video and you want to see more, my next video on Portugal is going to be a really epic day trip to Sintra, Cabo de Roica, Cascais. So that will be coming up in the next few weeks, or depending on the magic of the internet, might already be here and linked down below. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can see all of the videos as they drop. Now, subscribing doesn't cost anything. It's just YouTube's way of informing them that you want to see my videos as they're published. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you soon.